Welcome to season 7, episode 3 of the Will Reads. Yeah, we're doing cheers to the camera.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh,
Ching ching.
ching ching.
I'm
Are we all
drinking water, so
Oh, okay. Are we all drinking again? Is it
no,
COVID
I'm
over?
going to get it in our break. I will be joining you.
Okay,
but-
cool.
I have
I'm
water
just
in my
eating
ice
dinner.
cubes.
Yeah, I finally opened this bottle. I'll show them before the show, but it's King in the North, Game of Thrones, Imperial Stout. Decided to get some. It's cold enough for some stout, so I decided to drink some stout. So cheers.
Every now and then, when your significant other suggests a drink, just say yes.
Mhm.
This is
Delicious.
some kind of wine with a dash of Sprite and a squeeze of some Crystal Light or Crystal Country
Meth?
Time. So one of those squeezes.
something.
And blueberries, and it's amazing. And you smash the blueberries a little bit to get that flavor to infuse quicker.
Okay.
Anyways, it's a holiday
Sounds great.
spritzer. It's delicious.
Yeah. So what's going on? A couple announcements. We do have one new patron. So Chris, unless it's Chris down there that joined, I don't know. But
It's not me. I'm too broke to be paying us to listen.
Another Chris
another Chris.
and another one.
joined
I
as
can
a
promise
patron.
you.
So welcome. Yeah.
I just got married. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Welcome to adulthood.
And yes, Ian's name for this episode is fuck around and find out. That's,
Yeah, there's
that
no
is the
better
theme of
no
this
better theme here. I would say
chapter.
let's jump right to it, but we got a few things to talk about first.
Do we really know?
We do. We got some.
Kind
We
of.
got some. We got some loyal expose, which is fun. So
Yeah.
we'll get there.
I do have more to say
Um,
about Loyal. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll
Go
get
ahead.
we'll get to all that. So before we get to all that, anything else going on in this world? Cosmere update. Chris did finish Elantris.
Oh my
so
goodness. It was so phenomenal.
yeah. So we'll be doing a live stream with Chris about the book review for Elantris, and then for our next Cosmere, I need to talk to Ian. Well, I'm putting you on the spot right now, Ian. Either I have
Okay.
Chris read something else, or we can do Warbreaker together all at the same time. It's a standalone novel.
I think at this point I'm far enough behind. We should jump to something we could do together.
Okay.
As I told you, Alan, I messed up by saying I will continue when I start going to work again, and I'll do it on my commute because I got 45 minutes to an hour in the commute. That's 2
Yeah.
hours a day, right? Well, I jinxed myself, and
Yeah.
Jing Jing's still not working. Yay! What have you
So-
won?
so-
Depression, poverty.
We will start doing Cosmere episodes. They won't be as often, of course, weekly. It'll kind of be, we'll probably break books into like 4 parts. And then not doing weekly, but maybe do them once a month or something like that. We'll figure out time.
I'd love to do a big chunk.
Yeah,
thing
we'll do
instead
big
of-
chunks.
Not this
Yeah.
pace. Big chunks.
Yeah, not this. Yeah, we'll do big chunks. So, they'll kind of be like as we finish them. So it
Have you
won't
gotten
be
to
like
Era
that's
2 yet, or gotten to Era 2 yet?
Figured a little bit.
First few chapters, and then life, and like I said,
Gotcha.
I had a plan, and
Yeah,
it's not
understand.
working
all
out.
good. All good. So yeah, so that's going on as far as things in the channel. We are gonna have another Water Fortune in January, so that's coming up. I'm still working on finalizing guests for that, but we got to get pretty good. The problem is too many people have said yes. I asked too many people, and they all said yes, so I need to figure out. But
Looks like you'll be doing it twice next month.
maybe we'll see.
Or do
no,
like a
that's what-
team
what-
version and just
So what
partner
happened was
people
I-
with random friends.
Well, no,
in the
because I
community?
asked a group of content creators, and they added people to their content that I didn't know about. So like yeah, now it's more of us, and I was like, oh, is it? Well, cool.
no room for that in the spreadsheets. Well, then I need to redo the formula. You're out.
It's more if Jake can add more people. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're still gonna have a game. It's gonna be the early January. So that's I think January 7th is what the
I can't believe we're already talking about January.
yeah January 6th or 7th. That weekend is gonna be Water Fortune. I think we're doing the 7th because the 6th is Dusty Wheels doing a live stream because it's the 10-year anniversary of Memory of Light. I think that weekend. So he's doing a big thing for that.
Dana did say that you can kick her to another month. Thanks, Zul.
Oh no, but I really wanted you to come play, Zool. But
Gotta
Yeah.
have some Zul time. Has she been on yet?
no, she hasn't.
Oh well, then yeah, Zul, your reservation is
you're
double
in.
reserved.
Yeah, you're in. Don't worry. You're
You
in.
might host and play and run the chat and produce.
Yeah,
all
Zool's
the
one of the
above.
players. So no, you're good. It was just the other content creators. They added more people, so I was like, oh, you have more hosts of your content. So we'll announce that once I figure it all out. But yeah, we're having a game coming up. That's all for announcements. There's some giveaways going on right now. Yeah, that's Christmas Eve. There's going to be 2 drawings. One's on Facebook going on. The other one's on our Discord server. They're both for hardcover copy of Little Town books. So go check us out on Facebook. Come join our Discord. You can win books. It's pretty cool.
Books.
So yeah.
Hey, that's Azul's birthday weekend too, so she definitely has to be on.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%.
Celebrate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what else? Personal life. Yeah, I had we had our Christmas party this weekend. Ian came over to say hi while I was decorating, and to steal a bunch of Wheel of Time books.
I stole books.
Yeah,
He offered one, and I was like, "What about the next one?" He's like, "I got that too." I was like, "What about the one after that?" He's like, "Well, I got that too." I was like, "What about the one after that?" I walked away with all I could carry.
Did you do that 7 times?
He had a stack of books walking out of the house, and I was like, "Here you go." So, anyway,
like, finally, I have some space.
Oh no, this is all in my off. Yeah.
She was like, "You're just gonna leave without saying hi," and I was like, yeah. I mean, no. Hi and bye. Love you guys."
Yeah, we were scrambling to decorate because we had a party on Sunday, which was a lot of fun. I bought. So the problem is we've done this party. This is the first time doing a real party since COVID. We used to do this every year, and it was always a big thing. Like we have like over 100 people show up to this party. But before COVID, a lot of my friends didn't have kids yet. In the last 3 years, they've all had kids. So the amount that they drink has gone down significantly because they had to be responsible and like go home with their kids. So I bought alcohol like I did in previous years, and we have a crap ton of leftover alcohol. So
Chris and I got you. We'll plan something.
I was about to say Alan Henson will be headed down to Newport News for Christmas, so you can definitely send him back with.
yeah.
Or hold on to it, because as soon as your friends have 3 or more kids, or if their kids get 7 years old or older, they're going to be back at it.
They're back at it. Yeah, no, we'll drink. We'll drink it. I'll just load up the trunk and take it to Jordan Con.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that works.
So, we bought like, I think 50 bottles of wine, but then everyone brought a bottle of wine as a gift. So like we net even, maybe we have 50 bottles of wine now in our house.
Wow.
What are your New Year's plans? On my way.
Yeah, there you go. to not remember anyway.
Have another baby.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I mean, the wine might create a bridge.
There you go. Anyway, yeah, so that was my personal life of what's going on with me. Just trying to get through all that, and then on the holidays coming up, we have Christmas next week, so this weekend, yeah. So fun times.
Joy.
I'm kind of ready. More or less. Yeah.
More or less.
Anyway, what's up with you, Ian? How's life?
Still happily semi-unemployed, but apparently they claim they figured out how they're going to pay me and when I can start, but I don't know when that is. And since we're this close to Christmas, no one's going to respond to an email until a week after New Year's. But we hinted at this before, and Chris chimed in. What joy I've been finding. I mean, there's that stress in the background, but every day I wake up, my to-do list is 1 or 2 things. I knock them out. I do a great job at it, like folding laundry, knocking out some dishes, little yard work, something like that. And then just freedom.
Yeah.
It's blissful. I mean, yeah.
Are you one of those guys that work off lists? Because I'm one of those guys. Like
I have to now.
Yeah. I have to have a list. If I don't have a list, I get completely flustered and just I shut down.
Right.
Don't want to do anything.
Not that long ago, I could do 10 things like bing, bang, boom, and even tangents to the list with all in my head. And now if it's more than 2 things, got to write it down. Got to have a list. Got to check it off. So.
Yeah, my wife loves using descriptors. She was like, "Yeah, for the party, you got to move this over here." I was like, "What's this? That?" And I was like, "Doesn't help." Describing this as that does not help. I don't know what you're talking about.
So this is going to sound quite sexist, but that is a woman's thing. And again,
I'm not nodding, but
I have had to explain to my sister a number of times, like, how do you get the boys to get so much done? Because you give them too much and too little at the same damn time. When you tell a boy, clean your room, that means absolutely nothing to them. All it means
Their
is
standard is very different than your standard.
move stuff around and make it look better now than what it was 5 minutes ago. That's what that means to my nephews.
I
I'll
pick
go
up
in
the
there
sock. Hey, it's cleaner than it was 5 minutes ago. All right,
Improvement.
There's
I was like,
improvement.
the difference in you and I is I'll go in there and I'll say, do you see that pile of clothes right there with the socks and the underwears in it? I want you to match the socks and put them in this drawer. I want you to fold the underwear and put them in that drawer. When you're done with that, come see me.
Yeah.
Very, very much.
Hey, with my ADD, I need those bite size like directions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I get squirrel. Like, I know that's a horrible analogy for it, but I have ADD, so I will.
You nailed it, Chris. With the here's the task, here's what mission complete looks like, and then you don't give them the next one. You go, when you're done with that, come see me.
Yeah.
That way you don't overload them.
And it works the same way with your husbands. If you look at your husband and say,
we appreciate it.
Honey, would you please go and vacuum the front and back seats of the car? You get the front and the back seats vacuum. The floor might actually get we ain't touching the trunk. The floors might get touched if we really get ambitious and we want to show off a little bit. We might even get the floors for you.
Yep.
But don't say go vacuum the car, because then it's like, well, that shit looks clean enough for me. Just, okay.
Check.
Check.
There you
go. Next thing.
That's perfect. The only other thing I got, it's a quick ad. I feel like I announced this before when River and Ronan and I started playing Fortnite back in my apartment. But now we have a new wrinkle of Evan, Meredith's 8-year-old, is starting to get into it a little bit, and he's picking up on it fast. So now we're kind of playing, putting our teams together and some duos, trios playing together. And it's like, it's kind of like going to Busch Gardens again, but with little kids. Like, you get to re-experience it again the first time, and it's a lot of fun. Like, he got his first kill the other day, and everybody's jumping around celebrating. And it's hilarious because his younger sister's clapping like, "Yay, Evan killed somebody! He shot him in the face," and we're like, "Yeah!" But then you're like, "Oh man, maybe do we need to have a conversation about context here?" Like, nah, we're just gonna
just have fun.
Anyways, nothing but goodness. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's great.
All right, Chris, what's going on in your world?
Work.
Stop rubbing it in. That's pretty screwed up that you led with that.
Avatar 2. Did you guys see Avatar 2?
I have not seen it yet. Dude, I have time.
I want to.
It was a worthwhile watch.
Okay.
I did not fall asleep in the whole 3 hours, nor did I get up to go to the bathroom.
Is it a must-see in theaters?
We saw it 3D. I don't think you need to see it 3D.
Okay.
Chanel says yes, it has to be seen in 3D, and yes, it is a worth. She heard all of this. She said it's a worthwhile must-see 3D in theater. I feel like it is worth seeing in theater. I'll wait another decade for the next one. This one was a little bit more of a build-up because they're working towards number 3.
Ooh.
But there is a little bit of redundancy within the story itself. Chanel says you don't have to wait another decade. They've already got the next one made.
I was gonna say, give her a headset because I want to know what she's saying.
I know.
I love you, Chris, but I want to know what she's saying.
Chanel, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. You need to come in here for a minute.
Have you heard how long the third one is? Like, they haven't finished editing it. Like, they shot it all, but you know how long it is?
How long?
9 hours.
9
Give it
hours for number 3.
Give it.
Well, yeah,
obviously
they're
really
have to cut it down,
up.
but like the director's cut, like that has not been concised, is 9 hours long. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Where's the cat at? Is there one behind me?
No.
Yeah, tell her to give us a little quick take on Avatar. So what? We're just getting the headset.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
I hear that.
So a non-spoilery take on the new Avatar. What are you feeling? What do we need to do? Got to see it in theater? Wait for it to come out?
Have to see it in theater. Have to see it in 3D. Those underwater scenes are gorgeous. If you are a cinephile, if you like
big words,
the way, if you like the way the frames are organized, if you're into movies, period, just go see it.
Ooh,
go see it.
Yeah. All right, I'm sold.
Yeah.
So I was on the fence only because my kids haven't really taken interest. I'm like, who wants to go see it? And they're like, man, I don't know. Wasn't too big on the first one. And I'm like, I don't want to go by myself. But I mean, if I will, I'll go by myself. It'll be Tuesday at 11 in the morning. I'll be like, see you guys. Go to the
Yeah.
theater.
Definitely make that move. It's
Awesome.
I will admit it's a little slow in the middle, but what they're showing us in the middle carries through to the end and it makes sense. So it's not like they just put a whole bunch of extra fluff in there that doesn't connect. It all connects.
It's all got a purpose. I love it. I'm sold. Well, thank you, Chanel.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's good to see you.
It's good to see you guys too.
Look, you're getting all these in the chat. She ain't that pretty, y'all.
I was gonna wait till she left the room, but she's a little easier to look at than you, Chris.
Oh, she's a lot easier to look at than I am. All right, I'll let you leave. Maybe,
guys.
Cat, sir. Come on, Lily.
Well, Avatar, you got your plug.
There you go.
That was enough for me. I'm sold.
There you go.
I'm going to see it.
It's a lot easier hearing it from her.
This episode brought to you by James Cameron and Avatar 2. See it now in theaters. Can we get some money for that?
No, in
No, we
3D.
In 3D.
When you think about it, our show right now is 3D. Well, now it's not because Chris turned his camera off. Now we're 3D again.
Now it's 3D. There you go.
And if you have to think about that joke, you haven't listened to our show long enough.
Oh yes, do bring your tissues.
Okay. So anything else going on in your world besides Avatar?
I helped a friend move tonight, and I'll be doing it the next 2 nights because around here the movers don't care about making money. No, I take that back. They don't care about their reputation. They care about making money. They will drop you if they find that there's somebody with a bigger house that's going to take longer, like that. It happened to Chanel's sister. It happened to Alan H. Like
any market that's overblown, that's going to happen. So like Charlotte market and Raleigh market, North Carolina, it has a large population influx in the last few years. Yes. So they're not hurting for work because people are moving down there left and right and they're building
contractors
stuff.
Too. Yeah. They're
around.
Well, this sounds horrible, but I know a few Mexicans out here that are not legal and they're phenomenal people and they're great workers. And I know when it's time for me to move, I'm just going to talk to them.
Yeah, I got some of them on my Rolodex.
Yeah, that's I remember back in 2004, 2005, I worked in the housing industry around here when the housing boom was going crazy because everyone was building houses, like insane amount of houses. And I remember delivering some construction equipment or supplies out to a house, and the contractor literally, we got the order wrong. He's like, I don't care, we'll just put it in. I was like, but don't you care? He's like, no. If they back out of the contract, the house has already gone up in price. Like, we'll just sell it for more money. So I don't care. Like, they're just the contractors didn't care. They're like, they want. Oh, you wanted a cast iron tub? Well, here's a fiberglass tub. If you want to back out, fine. I'll just sell it for $100,000 more than what it was before. So I don't care.
Wow,
like, that sucks. remind me not to buy a house during those markets. Same thing with like movers. I mean, so if you have a high area where you can get better pay somewhere else, and screw you guys. I'm going somewhere else. So anything else before we move into these chapters?
No, I'm ready to.
Okay.
So if you hear screaming in the background, it's because the kids are still playing Fortnite.
Nice.
And I'm not sorry.
Who are the 3 girls in the back?
That's over here?
Yeah.
So sheep, baby Jesus, Joseph,
never
Mary, and these 3 guys have really high IQs, apparently.
Very wise.
My glasses fixed.
Very wise.
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
I need new glasses.
Who are those girls? Well, they're dudes.
She sounds hideous.
So, chapter 3, Hill of the Golden Shower. Dawn.
Oh, yeah. Right off the bat, and Alan starts. Home run number 1. Where are we at?
There we go. So, so we start with a little bit of a gateway action. The groups travel to Cairhien with
Is that what we
a
call
good
it
amount
now?
of Ashaman. Like, how many Ashaman are there? It's like 12. Well, they're not full blown Ashaman, but like,
No, I don't think it's 12. I thought it was fewer than that. Am I wrong?
well, you have like one Ashaman, and then you have a bunch of like, I think it was 6.
A lot of newbies.
Yeah, it was like six soldiers, 6 dedicated. Like, I think it was like 13 total. I mean, it was a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah,
There's not
it was-
just a handful.
Enough
It's
enough that if you know who they are, you should respect it and be concerned.
you shouldn't fuck around.
Yeah. Because you might find out.
You might find out. Yeah. So yeah, and they're met right there on this hill where they open up by a wise one. Is it Fernigan? Something? Yeah. And she tells them that there's rumors going around that he's went and swore fealty to the White Tower, and there's bleakness amongst the Aiel because the Aiel they don't know, and a lot of them are leaving and going to Shadow because they think that Rand's now fallen to the White Tower and no longer is going to lead them, and yada yada yada. He's like, well, I'll just show up, and that should be done. So we're good there.
Yeah, it gets better when. So I know Jordan messes with us, and this might all just blow up in our face. I will say these chapters, I'm already going to call it right now. Rand is my character of the chapters, and Loyal's going to be a close second. But Rand is my character of the chapters. He anticipates, he hears these rumors, he anticipates what he has to deal with. Like, he clearly has a plan in his head that he slowly unfolds in front of us through like other people's viewpoints and whatnot, and it's perfect. The wise ones telling him, oh, you got to watch out for this rumor, and he just looks over. He's like, I got a group of eyes to die here. Tell you what, why don't you just push them and slap them around and make them look like little children, put them in pigtails and march them around. And then everybody knows that you're kind of with me. So since you're with me and you're slapping them eyes to die around, I think people are going to get the point. And I'm like, that's probably the best way you could have played this. Like, that's pretty smooth because people, remember you're in Cairhien. Like, they play the game of games. Everybody's watching everything, and everything that you do, everybody assumes it's to send a message or to prove some point or whatever. So just by doing that, that rumor's gonna fly around real fast. So I think it's a good move by Rand.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite quote from the chapter is, "Do you believe my enemies have been asleep while I was away?" And I mean, that in and of itself kind of speaks to the mentality that Rand has. He's like, I have to watch my back at all times, and me being gone longer than a couple of days, especially with nobody knowing where I had been, and me not putting it out there like I should have, like, they're like ready to stab me in my back. Oh, he's so cute. Tell the kids to come on over and get hugs and kisses.
They're camera shy. It's okay.
Oh, okay. I would be too.
Sorry.
Anyway,
you were making.
No, you're good. No, my point was over with. I'm just saying, Rand definitely has that awareness, like you were saying, and he's handling things to the best of his ability at the moment.
With the knowledge he has, I think he's making great moves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I know I'm skipping around a lot here, but I did take notes this time. So my notes are not coherent. This is the problem with me taking notes. So Rand does ask about Colavaere, whether she's been crowned, and it's confirmed that yes, she has been. And it's interesting. It reveals that a couple other noblewomen, Caroline Domadred, and a couple other ones approached the city and said that she's a usurper. Yeah, and that there's also revealed that there's Aes Sedai in the city. So that's kind of the main part of the report. And definitely Rand's not happy about that. He's like, what?
Right. I'm making a huge assumption here because, again, the text doesn't really give us this. I think if I were in his shoes receiving this information, the next confrontation, the next conversation that I really want to be a part of is between him and Bearlane, because Ruark went with him. He left Bearlane in charge, and Bearlane she wasn't picked for no good reason. Like, this is something she has the capacity to handle. But if it got to this, it's not so much, oh, there was a power vacuum and when I was gone and somebody came and stole it. Well, that's to be expected. I don't think he's surprised by that. but
I mean, his
the
direct
fact that
quote
Bearlane
was,
wasn't there to fight it, or
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
"Yeah, I'm saying his direct quote was only a fool thinks his enemies stand still when he isn't looking,"
Yeah,
and that came from Deshiva, but he's essentially mirroring exactly what Rand was already saying and thinking. Rand even makes the point to Deshiva about having enemies. If you stay near me, you will have some. So, like, the expectation is there. He's gonna have to make enemies. He's gonna lose friends. He's gonna kill some people whether he wants to or not. But he's gonna also have to make a point.
yeah. I don't think he's surprised by this. He's not pleased about it, but I think in the back of his mind, he has the question about Bearlane, and that right now, that's probably the only thing nagging in his mind, because that's all that's nagging in my mind is to like, all right, what went wrong there? Because my plan was for you to handle this. You're not there, or you let this happen. So, yeah. Hopefully that happens in the next couple of chapters, because we don't get it tonight, folks. If you're wondering, everybody listening, you probably already read and you already know, and you're like, oh, he could find out in 3 books, but hopefully it's in a few chapters.
Sure. Yeah. So let's see, where was I? Yeah, demands that Karuna then demands that Rand guide her and Bera to see the wise ones, try to convince people that they follow, that the Aes Sedai follow Rand. I guess we already talked about that a little bit, because that was Rand's solution to that. I also said, all the Aes Sedai are in one location. It's easy to watch. We're good there. And then we get into Gaul being Gaul and talking to Perrin about all of his, and Perrin's just like, dude, seriously, dude.
Perrin's on a single track, I think. So
yeah, he wants to find Fael. That's
right. Loyal gets it. Aram gets it. Some of his close followers get it, but everybody outside of that circle probably doesn't quite get how single-minded Perrin is right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, goals, whatever. But then also, how about Perrin? His struggle with him feeling he's the only one that could protect Fael is it based solely in like how he was raised and what he thinks of like the roles of men and women, or does he just not know enough about Fael? Like maybe he doesn't truly really see her yet, because I feel like the other people in reassuring him, there was a little bit of like, bro, she could take care of herself. And then you get the reassurance from Loyal, like, well, you got to understand being Tavira and you're not always going to be there for her. So he's more like, you can't do anything about it, accept it. But he's also battling like the understanding, like, I feel like there's other characters that know Fael that are like, you don't need to be there to stick up for her. She can handle it.
Yeah. His point is, it's not like the Aiel culture. Like if someone has a problem with her, they're not going to come up and like challenge her to a fight. They'll just like slip something in her soup or like come up and have some stab her in the back. Like the culture is completely different, and
stuff.
And trying to explain that to Gull, like she's not safe because of our culture. There's no honor at all in our culture when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like if someone has a problem, they're just gonna.
Okay, so we haven't had enough. We haven't had enough Fael chapters to know what's going on in her head all the time, but other people watching.
Absolutely right. We haven't had any Fael chapters to the point to where we would know. Like right now, we're completely questioning everything, and then like I'll let you say what you're gonna say. Go ahead, finish.
I was gonna say from the chapters where people are commenting on Fael and we're getting their perspective on what she's doing, what she's saying, I think she does a better job of reading the room than Perrin does.
Oh, for sure.
Because Perrin has too much internal struggle that he focuses on. I don't know if it's how she's raised or whatever, but she seems to read the room a lot better. I'm not saying that makes her like invincible to attacks like that. Somebody slipping something in her soup or sneak it up on her with a dagger. But I think she's paying attention to those things better than Perrin does. Perrin, he's relying on these newfound senses of his a little bit more, and that gives him an advantage. But I think she just has either some natural instinct or some instinct that's been taught to her that she just reads the room really well.
Yeah.
And I mean, so we have this whole conversation with the Aiel about wetlanders being like sea fleas or sand fleas, and that kind of gives it that perspective. you never know what's happening with them. There's so many of them. They're doing so many different things. Why pay attention to the minute stuff? And if she can't handle herself in the big things, then, that's on her. That's kind of like the understanding here.
Yeah.
And that just kind of goes to show you the ignorance that the Aiel have. They haven't been around the wetlanders enough to know what politicking really looks like and the power that words can really hold and what actions will be taken in the event of, something as simple as a pen stroke. You can have hundreds of people murdered in their sleep. So, there's no honor in that, but it's very effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also had some talks. I found this really interesting too. I had a note about it. The Michael Bublé's Evil was mentioned, which, if we know from the previous book, it's not that. Because remember the guy who died at the end? Harold fell?
Yeah.
So it's a golem that attacked, but I think that's what they're referring to here, is that the bubbles of evil versus people died. Because this guy's just torn to pieces. Like, it's like, it must have been bubble of evil.
Yeah.
Right. But it's still important at this point to mention the bubbles of evil.
Yeah. Michael Bublé still
like
shows.
Not like they should go away. Unless the bubbles are done and like we're full on streaming.
They're concentrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also love how Loyal tries to calm down Perrin.
Volcano. Yes, that was hilarious. It's like, oh, she'll be okay. It's all right. Don't worry. Did Alan freeze? This has been a long time since this has happened.
Yeah.
Ian, you're in charge now.
He froze in a great pose. He's like,
he did.
He's got a good smile going. I can see both dimples. One of his glasses are fogged up just a little bit.
It's all the stout.
It's a good Christmas still when you think about it.
It is. That should be on our card. We need to make
got that salt and pepper beard.
Patrons. Get a screenshot of that.
Click. Am I pointing the right way?
Yeah, I got it. Oh, wait. Point again? I'll do another screenshot.
He's gone. He's gone. Wait, if it's just us, is anybody able to hear us?
I don't.
Is anybody else
That's a good question. It says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. Let me. Hey, somebody in the chat, can you hear us? Oh, Jake is running the show, so yeah, they can still hear us. This is why we have
Frozy too. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah,
you came in. You froze for a second, Jake.
Okay. Well, that was you then.
Okay. I like it.
Alan, hurry up! I don't want to do this. I'm not prepared.
No, I got it. I'll take over. I've been waiting for this moment.
So we were just getting into Loyal. Have any thoughts on Loyal, Jake? And him trying to comfort Perrin?
Loyal's the best.
Well,
he's the best boy.
We just gained 16 more fans with that one comment, and it's going to keep doubling every time people listen to it because it's spot on.
I will say this. So that moment with Loyal, when he's like, don't worry, Fael's okay, buddy. Like, Fael's the best. But I can understand how upset you, because if something were to happen to my woman, I would be very upset. And I can't believe I just said that. She's not really my woman, but I hope she hasn't picked anybody else. I hope she hasn't forgotten about me. Oh, I hate being around you, Severin, especially two of you. You make me say stuff I would never say. Part of me believes that. Part of me really does think he wouldn't be saying that if it wasn't for the influence of his friends. I'm not going to say it's because they're Taviran. It's because he's comfortable and he's being more human-like. He's just been exposed for so long to humanity.
Yeah. Remember when Rand ran away from Moraine and all them? And like, as they were trying to track him down, they went through a town and like everybody married everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there weird effects from the Taviran-ness and everything? Yeah.
Yeah.
But is Loyal way off track from where we could see Loyal going? Like,
well, there's also it's kind of compounding because Rand and Perrin are in activity.
Right. I don't know that it's enough where it's going to make you do something you don't want to do. but I feel like this Taviran-ness might be, I don't know, maybe put certain emphasis on certain feels that you got.
Yeah, but I like again what Kate said. I'm not gonna blame it on the Severin though. I think that's just finally putting out there in words what he felt, and that's just him being more like human.
They do though.
People really do say more than they intend to around Taviran.
Yeah.
Yes, but saying it out loud doesn't mean you don't feel it and think it.
Yeah.
So maybe just being around them, he's kind of, it's helping him realize more.
He got a
what it is he
contact
wants.
high.
He got a contact high.
Good way of putting it.
Yeah, Perrin and Fael are so cute. I'd like to be cute with somebody. Her. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. But
But as the Gaul says, women, they're stranger than drunken wetlanders.
Gull is being a little bitter here
He really
because
is.
he feels like he's getting pulled around by his nose. Like, I think he's made his intentions clear and it's not being reciprocated the way he wants. So
I said women are strange, Perrin Ibarra. Shiad told me she would not lay a bridal wreath at my feet. She actually told me. But then here she is, popping up in my line of sight all the time. Like, why would she do that if she didn't want me to notice her? If she didn't want me to be her husband?
yeah.
The IO do have a funny way of flirting.
Yeah.
Why would you exist if you didn't want me to be with you? It sounds a little
Why would you
crazy.
exist in my line of sight? Just go away.
Yeah.
But
If you
of
don't want to
course,
be my
all
wife, just
Perrin-
don't be near me.
All Perrin heard was that Shiad was near, which he was like, well, she's here. Where's Fael?
Yeah. This is where he really started
Well,
freaking
thank
out.
God.
Laser focus for sure.
Right.
Laser focus. Bye,
Sorry.
Jake.
Bye, Jake. Thank you, Jakes, for jumping in. Yeah, so my Wi-Fi just randomly just dropped. I was
He
like-
saw us going downhill.
we
real quick.
noticed.
The number of watchers plummeted. Like, Jake said, you
You're-
gotta see the show.
like all the things are spinning. I was like, oh shit.
Wait, your freeze frame was actually pretty good. You had a nice smile going.
Thanks.
Like the beard, you
It's
leaned
all
in
over-
some, so it was like a lot of beard.
I think it was because I was talking about the bubbles of evil, and I was like,
You got
take
bubbled.
that. I got bubbled.
Or maybe with that new toilet install, every time it flushes, it resets your Wi-Fi.
No, so what happened? No, what happened was we installed a entire house humidifier, and it's in a garage,
Oh,
and
those are
our
fast.
Wi-Fi runs into like the box or whatever for
circuit.
same circuit.
Same
So
branch. Yeah.
so it's been tripping the circuit breaker. Plus all the Christmas lights are running off of those outlets too. So like it's like
Christmas
just-
lights wouldn't do
Already.
it, but something like a dehumidifier, when that kicks on,
mhm.
you'll so most wireless routers, they have a range, a voltage range that they operate within, and if it goes outside of that as a safety to protect them, they'll trip off.
Yep.
So the dehumidifier being on there, it might be enough. You should also check if you have irregular voltage, if you have any grounding issues.
Yeah, we're
Um,
gonna have the guys come back out that installed it and see if they can figure out what's going on because it should be kicking off. But yeah. Anyway, I'm
And
back.
that's your Lowe's home maintenance moment.
Yeah.
right. There could have been one good zap to the router though that is essentially
Fries
it's they're fried, but because it's too sensitive to the change in the voltage when stuff like that kicks on.
So if I drop again, that's why. It's because we're having issues. But yeah,
Jake, get ready, buddy.
yeah.
Keep your book open. Jake did a great job. Thank you.
Yeah. Tech
Are you
tips.
certified electrician too?
I dabble in everything. So as far as what I own, there's nothing in a home I can't build or fix. But what am I licensed to do? Nothing. The only thing is for HVAC stuff, I generally have to call somebody who has a license.
'Cause
And
it's
if they're
Freon.
kind enough, they'll buy the part for me. But a lot of them are getting very wary about that, and they're like, if I buy the part, I have to do the install because of
Okay.
regulations on it. But I can do it. I got the knowledge. I just
Okay. So what I miss? Where we at?
government don't let me do it.
We are. I went all the way to the point of Shiad being.
Yeah, we dabbled with Loyal, we dabbled with Gaul,
Okay.
and then Gaul's comment about Shiad being here and Perrin with the realization of, wait, that means nobody's with Fahil. which
Mhm.
we already kind of
You can
it's kind of
burn
like
the
circling
pattern.
back to where
Right.
we already.
We can all burn if it keeps her
And,
sick.
and that's how we ended this chapter though, because we went straight
Yeah.
to next show. Okay.
That would be the point that would separate Perrin from the group.
Oh, so
Because
I was
it's
going to talk about this
somehow-
coming up. We're about to really get into what I think Perrin is going to divide from Rand over.
Like I
could.
don't know that it's gonna happen, but if it does happen, it's gonna be over Fael
Mhm.
or his other
Well,
wife.
Perrin
assuming he
keeps
gets
making
this
it very clear to himself inside his head as we're doing a Perrin chapter, and outwardly to Rand. We talked about this last episode, that I'll follow you to a point, but I'm not following you. I'm helping because I believe it helps me and mine. And we're
But
setting
not
the
if you
stage for
fuck.
that. Right, but we're setting the stage for there are circumstances where you and I might be at odds. And then we
Yeah.
touch it again in these chapters. So why would Jordan keep hinting at this possible fork in the road
to
that he
throw it
wasn't
off to throw us off for the moment when Matt takes a
Well, that could happen too. Yeah,
yeah.
he could.
Matt's
Ricochet.
gonna be the real problem child.
Yeah. So, are we at the end of this chapter now?
If you want to be, yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's not a long chapter. These first two,
No.
most of the meat's in the last one we're covering tonight.
Yeah, the first one was the longest of the 3 chapters, but there wasn't much. There's a lot of like
It's
build.
a lot of like explaining what Elaine looks like, and like it's like recap.
Yeah. I wanna touch again. I talked about Loyal before and how he's kind of struggling with what he just did in this last battle, and how his rush to focus on writing the book and everything. I keep thinking about that, and what it reminds me of. It was so two things. One, in We Were Soldiers. One of the first big incursions in Vietnam. I don't know if y'all have seen the movie or read the book. But the guy that was the journalist, photographer, or whatever, who said right off the bat, like, I'm not here to fight. I'm just here to document, sort of thing. And he still very much got drawn into it, and the emotion and the struggle and everything. I think that's a close parallel to where Loyal's at. Like, he always wanted to be there to follow these Ta'Veren and be part of it, but he didn't want to be part of it. He just wanted to be there, but he's struggling with getting pulled into it and doing the fighting and everything. And I think for everybody, for me, I'm gonna talk for everybody. For me, it's odd. Like, there's a part of me that wants to see an Ogier fight, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. But from what I know about Loyal, every time I think about him swinging that axe, I'm like, that's just not right. Like, that's not him, sort of thing. So I'm kind of doubling down on what I said before, like his internal battle. He wants to focus on, no, I'm just here to document and write, and he doesn't want to be drawn into it, but he's being drawn into it.
Yeah. So what would Loyal say the reason why he's being drawn in?
Those tag on Ta'Veren. Even when I tried to avoid getting Ta'Veren, I turn around and boom, I get Ta'Veren right in the face.
All right. You guys ready for chapter 4? Or 4.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Into Cairhien. So right where we left off, Perrin's just impatient about Rand's party now going to the city because he's okay to get to Fael.
He's
Why is
riding his
Fael
horse. Right, his horse. Why
Yeah,
did Rand drop them so far out?
I guess
You don't want to
open
dice
gateway.
up people.
Yeah, you don't want to split people in half.
Well, they're just collateral damage. Open it up right there. I'd open it right on the doorsteps. I'd come. My whole army would have been right outside your.
There is going to be a time and place for that,
course.
I think, where it's like,
Yeah.
no, we could drop right on them.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. He doesn't want to make things worse. He already, again, going back to what his reactions were, none of this is surprising him. He already knows he's going to walk into some sort of cluster F, a mess he's got to clean up. Being further out gives you a chance to get a little intel before you go in, come up with your plan as you're going in, sort of thing. So,
Yeah,
I like it.
If it were me, it'd have been me and Tin Ashman popping up in my room, and we would have walked down the halls. We would have strolled down the halls.
Yeah.
We would have walked right into the daggone main room, looked at everybody, and just snapped my fingers and pop, 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 pop,
Yeah.
pop.
See,
I
so
would've-
like
I
that
would've put
strategy,
new lords and ladies in places.
that strategy is good in the moment and in the short term, very effective.
Yeah.
But I always go back to like, what do we know? What does Rand think he needs to do? He thinks he needs to get everybody together and on the same page to fight in the last battle, or at
That's
least as
true.
many as he can. So you have to demand this power and authority and respect for your power and authority without forcing it on people and still including as many people as you can, but still fixing the things that are fucked up. But also, you don't want to alienate too many people. It's a fine line. You know, he's walking a tightrope.
Right.
So, yes, that would be effective, Chris, in the short term. But how many people would look at that and go, okay, I'm not going to F with them, but I'm also not going to F with them, like in a good way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, you're right. He did it right. Popping up and riding up slow and letting the people kind of take in the full effect of him riding with 1,000 people. Just like
So
kind of
makes good
casually
points.
just strolling back, you know, coming into town like he had just walked away on a vacation and now he's back. He went away with 10 bags and came back with 1,000 because, you know, he's got bank like that. And, you know, now he's got to go clean up.
And to Zill's point, these aren't his enemies. Like he's trying to lead and rule here. He's not just coming in and trying to. Yeah.
But he's not trying to lead and rule. He's trying to put somebody in place to lead and rule. So
it's still not his enemies. He's not going to come in and just slice people up.
To the enemy's point, what
enemies?
What enemies does Rand want to have? I don't think he wants any enemies.
He should have taken a note out of the Khan's book and just killed all the men, impregnated the women, and
breed them out.
Moving.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that's been attempted many times.
He just didn't have much time, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he got Ivienda. Still convinced she's pregnant, but whatever. Where are we at, Alan? You took notes, Alan, and still we're all over the place. So
it's okay. Yeah. Well, as they're riding in as well, Parrot has this idea about the horse that he has to get Fayo's horse back to her because that'll make everything better. She loves the horse, and that's going to make everything better. And you know, in stressful situations, this is that's a calming coping mechanism is to find something that really has nothing to do with anything else, and like, if I just can get this done, it's going to be that much better. It's so. I think we try to
focus. Yeah, we try to focus on what we can control, especially when we're in situations where so much is out of our control. We try to.
Right.
Gosh, I could make parallels. I could jump back to the loyal conversation and him trying to get back in control of things and not be all Taviran and whatnot. But yeah, agreed, Alan. It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It seems silly, but
right. But we do it every day.
It's what he has to do to be able to put the left foot in front of the right foot and the right foot in front of the left foot. It gives him purpose in the moment.
And this is also the part where Loyal tries to comfort him and then starts talking about Aerith and marrying her. He's like, what am I saying? I'm too young to get married.
Oh yeah.
I guess we jumped ahead a little bit.
That's all right. We touched that a couple of times when you were gone, Alan. When you took your little sabbatical. Was kind of cute. He was getting Tavir and all up in the face, but also we talked about how we think it's really just exposing something that he really felt. But the Tavirans kind of force it to come out of his mouth. So in a way, maybe that's a good thing. You know what? Human beings, we suck at communicating. We joke at Wheel of Time. Oh, the communication's horrible. But guess what? That's reality. We're all bad about it. Like, how many relationships do you all have, like important ones, where you can think of big things that could have been solved if both people just literally let what they were truly thinking come out without being offended by what the other person was saying and then work to, find common ground there?
That happens all the time.
Right. It sounds simple, but when you think about it in practice in your real life, that's so difficult. You have to be vulnerable
without being offended. That's
right.
tough.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be honest. You have to show your dark side with your light side. trust the other person with everything you're showing them, like, and work together to find a solution. Like, we all suck at it.
I think I'm at that
So-
point in my life where it's not going to offend me much. I'm just afraid how much I'm going to offend you with when I come back with.
I'm worried about what comes out of my mouth offending people.
Like
That's my
I
problem.
as a new husband, I will have to be fair and say that I have come back around and apologized or reflected a number of times and looked at Chanel and said I could have handled that better or not better but differently, because what I said in the moment I meant, but it could have been done in a better way, in a different way, I should say.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she gives me a lot of grace, because, you know, especially after you come from hurt and a lifetime of hurt, and you're like at a point where you're just not going to deal with it anymore, then your mind just will jump.
Yep.
And then whatever comes out of your mouth is like, well, shit, I said it now, fuck it. And I meant it because I said it. So
right.
if I'm going to stand by what I say I mean, then I meant that shit, but I could have said it a different way.
Yeah. Because it's not that you didn't feel it at the time, but by expressing it in a certain way, like, it could have been offensive to the other person or hurtful sometimes to the other person. And that wasn't your intent. Your intent was just to share what was going through your head.
Yeah.
But your desire wasn't to be. Anyways.
Yeah. To other people, I'm
you.
like,
If
you're offended, just, okay, tell me you're offended. And
take a number.
What are you going to do about it? He mess with me, I'm going to call Ian. He's waiting for something to do.
I ain't got shit to do when I own 2 shovels, bro.
There's plenty of swamp between here and Virginia.
I know the places people don't go.
Did Alan freeze again?
Oh, that's so cute. His dehumidifier. Turn the dehumidifier off. If you identified the problem, do you think your humidity levels are going to get so bad in the next hour and a half that you have to keep it running right now? Did you take a picture again?
I should. Oh, no, I didn't.
Jake, help. Jake, where you at?
We don't need Jake. We're going to take off on another tangent.
Oh, let's do a seance and see if we can summon him. All right, you ready? Hold hands with me, Chris.
Jake. We call on you, Jake.
We're calling on Jake. Join the show.
Jake.
Jake is eating a bowl of Fruit Loops in the other room. All right, if you're listening but not actually watching, hopefully you pieced it together with context clues. But Alan
you know he's going to remove all this stuff.
No, he's got to leave it.
You would think, but
well, he is a dark friend.
Let's do Christmas caroling.
He's going to edit it to the point where it seems like the problems are our fault. He's going to be like, "I'm sorry, Ian got really drunk and ruined the show, so the editing is really bad this episode." That's something he would do.
Dashing through the snow in a 1-horse open sleigh.
Da, da, da.
Gotta get our horse back
Da, da, da.
to Vile right away. You did a good job of that.
Yeah, well, you know, I've kissed a few horses in my life. Well, I've lost a lot of bets. That's what I should have said. But anyways.
I say, is that what we call them?
Oh, man.
We're horrible. Our listeners just dropped.
They're like, Alan's gone. It's now total chaos. Jake's not helping. We're going to go watch something else. We were talking about something rather deep before Alan left.
Let's jump back and talk about men's trying to essentially get parents to kind of calm down, because he's driving this party at a rapid pace, and he only slows enough to let Fael's horse rest because he definitely don't want to kill the horse, because that's
and just shy of a sprint because he doesn't want to draw attention and answer questions, but about as fast as you can go without doing all of that.
Yeah.
And
So
in summary, guys, that's why Alan is a piece of shit. So I'm sorry I spent 5 minutes talking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, Alan, hey.
Yeah. No, I turned the humidifier off, so that way I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna
Oh,
turn it off.
well, we talked
But
about that too.
As if somebody may have suggested that or
Alan, your house is not going to get so like seeped and moist with humidity in the next hour and a half. It's good for the next hour and a half.
That's the other way around. It's the humidifier. Like
yeah, humidifier because
it's
it's
too
so
dry.
dry.
Like it's
I
too
get
dry.
bloody noses
Well,
every
now
night,
you're
and
just being a little.
I have
Put
two
some Vaseline in your
humidifiers
nose.
running. But that's bad for you to do it every night.
Just because
You know?
Vaseline is petroleum based doesn't mean there's any issues with taking like the remnants of dinosaurs that have turned into goop and rubbing it in your nose. Like I enjoy taking Triceratops goop and rubbing it in my nose.
I did that until somebody told me it was bad. Then I bought two humidifiers. Now those things are beautiful.
You should have
Well,
checked
see,
if those
we
two
bought a
people
whole-
had
yeah, we bought a
stock in humidifier companies because I think you just got.
Well, I bought a whole house one,
Sold.
so it's on the air
That's what
handler.
I
It's
really
a
want.
gigantic, like
That's what I
$3,000
want.
giant humidifier.
Yeah, when I get my own house, that will happen.
Yeah. But anyway,
So,
so
it should have its own breaker dedicated to it.
it should.
So yes, if it's
He's
whole
like-
house, then your people do need to come back and fix it.
$2,000 later.
Oh, we're going to talk about this. So from top to bottom, the order that you have your things on there makes a difference. So you want the things that dry higher amperage on one end, and your lower amperage pools and your outlets for the house and blah 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 on the other end.
Sure.
If you have that reversed, then you'll still have
Yeah.
Issues.
variable voltage
I got
when the
issues.
high amp things kick
You
on.
got them too.
Yeah. So hopefully we're good for the rest of the episode because I turned it off. I was like,
Hopefully
I'm just
you
gonna turn it
get
off.
what you're here to
so-
do.
So yeah, so where were we? We're entering the city. They confirmed that Colavaere's banners are flying. That she has indeed taken the throne, and that the coronation festival is going on. It's Coronation Day. Sorry, I've been watching a ton of Frozen because my daughter's really into it.
We're just going to move on and not talk about that. Let's go.
Deshiva's the one that's hesitant. One of the Ashaman. He's just like, yeah, maybe we should stay back, and send someone else inside the city, Rand. And and Joe Brain's kind of like, yeah, if you disrupt this festival, it could cause riots in the whole city. Like, it's a fun time for everybody. Like,
But there's advantages to it too.
mhm.
Everybody's welcome. You can't turn away these guests. I still think the Tavira-ness of it all is coming together. Considering everything this city just went through,
Right.
for Rand to show up with the party he has, like, it should raise so many red flags. It should be like, stop them until we get approval from the highest levels. But they're bound by this festival to be like, we got to let you through. And also, we know you. Well, one of you, some of you.
Yeah.
This is a weird party. But you know what? Fuck it, go.
Why would
I have
they
the
care?
festival
Like,
as an excuse.
every day there are coins being given out, food being given out, finery being given out. Like, this is something steeped in tradition that nobody wants to mess up. Like, it's taboo to mess that up because literally everybody's getting gifted.
I don't want it to be on me.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna start a problem that could stop the festival. So you go ahead and do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And also,
Well, that's-
I didn't think of this before, but so we know Colavaere's on the throne, right? From entering the city, going through the gates, marching up to go talk to Colavaere, who stepped in and said, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing?" Who even tried to stop them? Was there one person that was loyal to Colavaere?
Well, they did wrap the guards up in air. The Ashaman did. So,
Yeah,
That's true. They did, and we don't know which way they would have swayed. It's like as they were about to do something, and truly, we don't know what they're going to do. They could have been doing an awesome dance that
Trust
they've been
me.
practicing for days,
mhm.
Yeah,
but before they could do anything, they got wrapped up.
trust me, they weren't going to do anything more than get out of the way.
They weren't, but
Unless
this
they
is-
were total newbies that had no idea who Rand was. But I think everybody at this point knows who Rand is.
abundance of caution.
Sure,
Yeah.
they got wrapped up.
And then the servants inside just start curtsying and bowing. like are ignoring them.
Exactly. They're like,
They're
thank
just
God you're back.
"Oh,
Okay.
yeah, thank
Well,
God."
they're like, oh, you're clearly a lord, so they don't really even recognize him at first because he's not wearing all of his finery. They're like, another lord coming through.
Yeah. And then someone
know.
does recognize him and says something. And he's like, I was like, at least they showed some
At least
respect. or
some
something.
love. Yeah.
Some love. Yeah. And they enter the hall, and that's where Camille and Solande, two of the Cairhien and I guess noblewomen who are practicing their version of Giotto.
I'm
come
loving this,
out.
by the way. I almost hate that the IE will hate this. And maybe the IE will come around to it. But the imitation is greatest form of flattery.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
And I love the IEL, and the fact that they're doing this, I kind of love it.
Yeah.
I wish somebody from the IEL would go, okay, if it's going to be this way, let me teach you a few things. Like that's what we're missing to make it a little more accurate. But
yeah.
anyways, I think it's cool.
I'll dance the blades with you, and they're like the IEL just roll their eyes like.
I think if it wasn't for these people picking up swords, I think the IEL maybe would have taken them under their wing and taught them a little more. But that's a big thing. That's a sticky point where they're like, we're not going to cross that line.
Yeah.
I don't even think it, at that point, it's not even the tree killer thing. I think it's just the
with
swords.
Cultures,
No.
Yeah, with cultures, it's tough. Like when you imitate a culture, there's a respectful way to do it. And then there's a fine line where you're trying to be respectful, but it doesn't come off that way. Especially with certain cultures.
Early on,
words and phrases that some people can say that some people can't say, and
absolutely,
and then some people can't say it that can't say it but can say it because they are allowed to say it.
Yeah, and so I know probably what you're referencing there. There's a big one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But early in our episodes, when I was fresh off of the motorcycle club part of my life, that chapter, I used those references a lot more, but this instantly reminded me of that. It's not that the old motorcycle clubs are totally opposed to new clubs popping up, but they do want you to do it with a certain amount of respect, and there's kind of some permission asking, but it's not really to like get permission. It's to ask for a mentor of sorts. Well, it's one of two things. It's one, announcing what you want to do, and then they'll let you know, hey, you don't need to do that because there's already a group doing that you can join, and we don't need to flood the market. Or they'll say, okay, yeah, I could see where there's a niche for people like you that want to do what you're doing, and this is who's going to mentor you to help you do it without making a fool of yourself, which would also make a fool of the rest of us, sort of thing. So,
like, if I walk to downtown Newport News and start flashing gang signs,
Dunsky, you're Dunsky. You had a shot in high school because right before somebody took you out, somebody might have vouched for you. Without the vouch,
now, exactly.
And,
so that's
there are places in Midtown now that you can't drive into,
and they're gonna look at you and go, "His fucking, it's an old code, but it's still what is the
checks out? It still
checks out.
Yeah, it's old code still checks out.
It's old. They're gonna look at it and go, "Be like, that shit's 10 years old." No, let's get him. My old uncle still flashes that one. There's something wrong with this guy. Anyways, I'm destroying the show. Help us, Alan.
No.
We were doing a thing, a charity thing, and I'm not gonna get into the charity that we're doing it for, but it was like high schoolers or college age kids, and one of them asked because I had to drive some kids around, and they're asking me to change my radio, put on some rap or whatever. So I was like, I can find something. So I have satellite radio, so I switched to like hip hop channel or whatever. I was like, I don't know this 90s crap. It's like, what? This is Jay-Z, man. Like, yeah, no one listens to that crap anymore. And I was like,
what?
I was like, oh,
now you're getting older, man.
Meanwhile, Alan,
that's just Beyonce's husband.
Alan is thinking he's going out of his way to be hip by playing some Jay-Z.
Yeah, exactly.
Was told that his version of what is hip is already 10 to 15 years too old.
Yeah.
Now all he is Beyonce's husband. He matters for no other reason. That's
Yeah.
the cheater that Beyonce took back. He's lucky. Ooh,
But you,
okay.
you think about it, it'd be like getting someone's car in the 90s and saying like, yeah, put some rock on, and they put on something from the 70s, and you're like, yeah, what are you doing, dude? I want to listen to like Pearl Jam. Like,
Oh.
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, the equivalent of when we were in high schold. But of course, we appreciated old music, though.
What does
We
Pearl
would do.
Jam mean?
I don't know.
Oysters?
You can't Pearl jelly.
Right.
I don't. Is there a joke?
I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Has anybody ever asked the question?
Ask Eddie Vedder. I don't know.
Does anybody out there know? At
Yeah.
any point, it could be. Yeah, all right, we'll carry on with the show. If at
Yeah,
any
yeah,
point
yeah.
you don't know what Pearl Jam means, post it in the chat and then somebody throw it up because I'm curious.
Just very curious. Yes, after the whole confrontation about high heel, and Cairhien's acting like Aiel, Rand asked, okay, well, where's Colavaere? It's like, oh, she's in the the main grand hall, for the main ceremony, and like we weren't invited because we're lesser nobles. And Rand's like, I guess this is where we're going then. And Dobrin
Can I
explains,
jump backwards for a split second?
Sure.
So maybe no significance here, but I got a decent chuckle out of it. One of the maidens, as they were coming up to those guards we talked about that got wrapped up in air, one of the maidens veiled. But before the maiden could do anything, they were wrapped up in air.
Mhm.
And they were, stuck. And one guy eventually passes out, but still stuck in his like air fortress, whatever we want to call it. And then there was some hand talk, and I got the vibe that who was hand talking to her was like, don't fucking embarrass us like that. Like, have you noticed? We talked about this before with like the bad people. Like we met Trollocs and we were like, oh my gosh, Trollocs are horrible. And then we meet the Fades and we're like, the Fades are way worse. And then we meet the Forsaken and we hear about like the Dreadlords and we're like, the bad guys just keep growing. And then eventually, now Trollocs are like, Trollocs, fuck a Trolloc.
Yeah.
Who cares? Right.
Yeah.
And
It happens on every RPG game.
exactly. Yeah. So the Aiel, if you had a dozen Aiel with you, you were invincible, right? Yeah. And then if you had 100 Aiel with you, you were invincible. But now our Aiel are not the most badass mofos on the block.
Nah.
Yeah.
And I feel like who gave the hand signals to the one that veiled was kind of like when I say, hey, don't embarrass us sort of thing. I don't know what they were hand signaling, but it felt like that because there was you were about to throw down with people that are probably going to dice you up. And by the way, we have people who are showing us up. Come on. We want to pretend like we're still something sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they start heading towards this main hall, and Dobrin explains to them that the coronation happened actually 9 days ago. This is just all part of the festivities. It's already a done deal. And Perrin can't restrain himself any longer. He's like, all right, where the F is my wife? I need to know. It's like, oh, your wife, Aiel? Yeah, she's with the queen. She's like one of her servants, her tenants.
She's like number 2 or number 3.
Yeah, she's one of her
in this coup.
Perrin's like, huh?
I was like, what?
He scratched his head like, she's the what? How the hell?
But what comes out of his mouth is, well, she's got a good reason for that.
I'm sure she's got a phenomenal reason.
She did it for
Rand, she
a reason. Rand, she did it for there's a reason, Rand. There's a reason, Rand. Rand. There's a reason. This is another one of those moments where like we're going through Perrin's mind and we're getting him battling with the whole, there's a reason, I don't know what it is sort of thing. But at one point, like he does kind of direct it towards Rand, like Rand, there's a reason. And there's kind of this moment where Rand gives a nod sort of thing. It might be later on, who cares? But again, this just reminds me that but it reminds me that Perrin is not doing this for the same reasons Rand is. And Perrin's not doing this for the reasons that Rand wants him to or thinks he's doing it. Perrin has his different set of principles and different moral foundation and different things that he's motivated by. So like it's still ripe for there being some confrontation between him and Rand if Rand does certain
If
things that
Perrin had it his way, he'd be back in the Two Rivers farming, and he'd have his forge going, and he would be shoeing horses, and making rakes and shovels, and
he'd only talk to wolves when nobody was looking.
correct.
And if anybody called him Lord, he would move and find somewhere else where nobody knew him.
And Faya would be pregnant with twins.
By twins, you mean a litter of 8
Puppies. Yep.
Yeah. Agreed.
I just don't know what you call octuplets.
Anyways, I'm putting a post-it on this page, and I'm saying this might be a build-up for. Oh wait, yeah, they were going down different paths. There's the divide. Perrin standing up to Rand. It could happen.
Okay. And so, Rand asked to be led to the hall. I think then Solanda.
Oh, that's cool. Pearl Jam was a reference to his great grandmother Pearl, who was married to a Native American and had a special recipe for PEY peyote jam. What is that?
Peyote's a psychedelic.
Hey kids, want to get high?
Got you. Okay, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
That's kind of cool. I never knew that. Thank you.
Okay.
Did you look it up or did somebody send it?
Somebody in chat.
Was it by it? How do you pronounce that?
Oh no, Zul said it first, and then
okay.
They then said the same thing. Yeah,
somebody went. Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
So psychedelic jam.
All right. Now you know, and knowing's half the battle.
Yeah. You ever seen those old early internet videos with those G.I. Joe? Like,
yes. You got the one little kid like,
and they're just horrible messages. G.I. Joe. Anyway,
tell about our G.I. Joe story. I won't tell it. She does too good of a job telling it.
Okay.
It's not
next time she's on.
Next time, nudge her to tell it.
Yeah. So so Rand asked to be taken to the hall. She asked, is everybody in trouble? He's like, oh no, you guys are fine. I'm gonna dispense justice to this who deserve it. But yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
we're just gonna go over
you
here.
don't have anything to worry about.
You got nothing to worry about. But who's in that room might have something to worry about.
Now the minute that door opens, it's like hush. All eyes on him, and they're like, oh my god. Oh shit. It's about to go down. I'm so glad it's happening earlier in the book. I hope this continues. But this feels like a filler book already.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to take a break before the third chapter.
Yeah, I think so. Because Ian just left to go pee. So.
Okay. Well,
guess
I'm going to go. We're there?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can take a break.
That's super impromptu. I'm going to get some more water because I'm super thirsty. That moving of the gas stuff was... I haven't moved somebody that fast with that much stuff in so long.
Okay. I've already taken 2 breaks because my internet went out twice. Jake was not there for the second time. Fun times with humidifiers, guys. So if guys ever, technology tips with Alan, if you ever install a whole house, anything, as Ian said, get yourself a breaker box because apparently it's not been good. So it's just last week it got installed. But let me get some tunes on until they get back, and we will be back in a second. All right. Bring everybody back. I know Ian just poked in, so he's back.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that song from, by the way. I did download it. I think I bought the rights to it. I think so. Or maybe I got it off a free non-copyright source. I don't know. There's a couple of things I bought rights to. That might have been one of them.
Hey, it sounds good. I like it.
Yeah, there's a few songs that I've bought rights to, so we can use it, and a couple of them that they're free non-copyright stuff. Yeah.
Death metal, goth, grunge kind of dude.
Yeah. Yeah. They have that too in free non-copyright music. Non-copyright music, you can find all sorts of fun stuff. YouTube has a huge library of free stuff. Also, I think that one was from Audio Jungle. So you have to buy rights to those. But
See, I try different types of music, but my curse is that no matter the music, I still fall asleep after a while. Like I really get into like the rhythm, and then it just kind of makes my mind drift, and then the next thing I know, I'm like falling asleep. It's kind of dangerous if you try to fall asleep in a concert or with a group of people that are listening to death metal or grunge. Or
yeah, it's tough to fall asleep in those concerts.
it's easy to fall asleep. It's dangerous to do so.
Yeah.
For me,
Ari loses shoe at those concerts.
Airwalks to be specific.
Yeah, that was a fun night. Crowd surfing would be fun, they said, until someone ripped my shoe off and threw it on the band member on stage.
I was gonna say, didn't it get thrown back? Didn't it end up hitting somebody in the head on the way back? I mean, did you? I don't think you recovered it, right?
It ended up on stage. I never got it back. It
No,
ended
okay.
up on stage.
Yeah. I saw you go one way, shoe go the other. I thought
someone
somewhere in the
ripped and
story
grabbed
somebody
my
got hit
shoe
with
and
it,
threw it.
but yeah, it disappeared.
It's a 1998 Family Values tour.
Yeah.
It's,
Corn, Incubus, and Orgy.
Corn, Incubus, and Orgy.
It was a great concert.
I haven't heard Corn in forever.
Yeah, it was a fun concert.
First mosh pit I was ever in, and I lost.
That was 99.
I lost.
I was not as big as I thought I was at the time.
I was still watching Pokemon.
I think we all had black eyes after that. It was a fun time.
I had a great time. First time I knew you could get a contact high. It is possible to be around enough to catch a buzz.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mhm. You guys ready to move into chapter 5?
Speaking
Yes.
of broken crowns.
A broken crown.
I can't believe it took us this long to get here because this is the only reason we showed up tonight.
Yeah, it's good. This is a good chapter. So yeah, Rand just busts in. That's where we start. He just comes right into the grand hall.
I like the word strolls. Bust implies that he like really broke the door down. This is more like
he strolled in. He strolled in.
Yeah,
I see pimp suit. I seen a cane. Like he did have a cane with him, right?
And
then
strolling.
Yeah,
it's kind of like he went in with the attitude of, "I already know the outcome of this engagement.
Shimmy. He was like,
I'm just giving you the time to figure it out." Yeah, I'm gonna let you catch up to me and where I'm at. I'm 10 moves ahead of you.
La, da, 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 da.
Like he casually strolls right up to the sun throne and puts his hand on it and he goes, this throne here, that's meant for Elaine, not for you.
Well, I have rights, and my daddy said I can have it. My daddy said, and you know what? His
Elaine's
daddy could have
dead.
had it too.
Elaine's
And
dead
I
anyways.
want it. Is it okay? We don't need to get into the story, and maybe Alan's the only one that will laugh at this. But when I read this, all I heard was, "My daddy did my homework. I'm gonna get an A." If Jordan wanted us to not like, what's her name, Colavaere?
Was she a valedictorian or was salutatorian?
Yes, we are not valedictorian. We're not going to mention names because great person.
Yeah.
And all that, but man, there were moments where she had us dying.
My daddy did my project. I'm gonna get an
I'm trying to
A.
get an A. After we all worked our asses off to barely get a B in one of the most difficult classes of our high school career, go fuck yourself.
Anyway, so yeah, that's she objects, saying, hey, Elaine's dead. Rand's like, no, she's not. First of all,
eyes
no.
widening, jaws dropping. They went so stiff, Perrin almost thought Ashaman had bound them all like the guards outside the palace. The chamber was a sea of sweat, perfume, and beneath that undercurrent of salty sweat, but through it oozed fear, a quivering sort of smell. Everybody was just like, we done fucked up.
Fuck around and find out.
Big time. Like, how do we get out of this? Like, you gotta feel like
help. I'm in danger. Help.
You can just see, like, it's the classic movie or TV trope where, like, it's like we fucked up.
It was at that moment. They knew they fucked.
So my cat does. He does one of these little things like this when he really knows he messes up. He like gets on his belly and he kind of scrunches his neck like, oh shoot, he caught me.
Don't say bad kitty. I know I'm bad kitty.
Don't say it. And the minute you say it, he like takes off. This is the image. I don't skip it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
But these are cowering cats or dogs, whichever.
Yes.
And then you're like, bad cat, bad.
All right, let's flip the script a little bit. This is what makes it more impressive. Rand did so little, but had such a huge impact here in a court where somebody just assumed power. Anybody that could have threatened her really for this assumption of power was murdered. And who does she have with her? She has, we're going to find out, an Aes Sedai that she thinks is behind her. She has a court full of hunters of the horn. These aren't chumps. These are fighters. These are warriors. These are smart, educated, like good at their craft people.
They're typically good dogs.
They thought they would have had the edge against anything that could have presented themselves. And of course, they thought, or at least she thought, Covert thought, that Rand was not going to be in the picture. Rand was the only one that could have burst this bubble. And here, Rand just walks in with his little needle, slowly marching towards the bubble. And he's about to pop that shit. Confidently knowing, just boop, that's all I got to do.
Colavaere, she's so smooth. My Lord Dragon, I welcome you back. Cairhien welcomes you back.
Yeah.
The way she said it, it seems like she was repeating herself.
Yeah. And then once she says
that
it's meant for Elaine,
yeah.
And once she says it's my right, it's my crown, and Rand just takes the crown off her head and literally breaks the crown, and then mends it back together using the one source. And it's like, what can you
she
nice
even
try,
puts the blame
friend.
on him first, though. She's like, that it really caught my attention. Cairhien has been without a ruler. A Cairhien and
far
ruler.
too long. Yeah.
You far too long. You yourself said you have no intention in the Sun Throne for yourself. And Elaine Tricon would have some claim, a small quivering gesture to dismiss such a claim.
Yeah, dismiss
if she were alive. Rumor says she's dead, like her mother. The boldness of this woman, like if we want to say favorite character from this, for me, it was her. And I'm not gonna lie, because she does it so smoothly, and she kind of just like edges in there. She kind of snakes her way around, and she really tries to win this battle without even seeing like she's fighting a war. Like,
that would work. That would work for somebody that has never read any of this series and doesn't know what we know. If somebody came in and read this chapter, they would go, oh, she's a strong character. Look at her stand her ground. Da, da, da. My trouble is knowing what we know. She did that with such a level of shit. I framed that sentence wrong because now I have to say naivety. Is that how the word goes?
Yeah.
Right.
Naivety.
She's so naive. She's missing so many pieces of the puzzle. Again, Well, then again, to your credit, I like to give credit to people making decisions based off the information they know. And with what she thinks she knows, she's playing her cards nicely. But what she doesn't know, it's not even that Rand has a royal flush. It's Rand has a pistol under the table. They're not playing the same game. She thinks
Right.
she won
No,
the
they're
game.
not.
And in Rand's mind, he's like, it doesn't matter the game you're playing. I will fuck you up.
Yeah.
What Alan mentioned was she's talking about her rights and the politics and the lineage and this, that, and the other. And here I stand and I'm women, here we roar. And I, you know, whatever. And Rand just goes, okay, I guess you need a demonstration. And he goes, everything that you hold dear, I can fucking crumple.
But you gotta
Or
think about
not.
the comment.
Crumble?
It's,
Not crumple.
my
crumple.
Lord Dragon, what is
Not crumple.
done cannot be undone. If anything has offended you, that
Yeah.
was the part that really like triggered me.
Yeah.
It was all Rand's fault, and that's the other point I was going to make.
What is done cannot be undone. It's like anything can be undone and redone. Like, watch, big crown, put together.
I guess that's my point of her playing checkers, him playing chess.
Yeah,
He's
it
not.
triggered me though because that's what my ex used to do to me.
Oh,
Well, you said or you did.
yeah.
Okay,
I feel you.
I hear you.
I don't know how much down that rabbit hole you want to go, but
You thought you were
I
smooth.
try to keep that to myself.
You thought you were
Feel you.
smooth. I'm gonna let you have this one.
Yeah.
But Rand was like, I hear you and I see you. And you're right. He did. He magicked that crown to pieces.
He demonstrated that the game is bigger than what she's playing, and considering where we are in the game of games, this was a demonstration that she did not pick up on. I think, and it wasn't for her because I think he ultimately knew her fate was. It was either
Sealed.
going to be death or whatever he could figure out to keep her from dying, but her date was her fate was sealed. This demonstration was for everybody else there. And this demonstration was for the rumor mill.
Dragon Reborn don't care about your lawyer.
Yeah. Thank you. She's like, I object. And he's like, I can destroy the courtroom. Boom. Push it, just destruction.
Louis the 14th, I am the state.
All right. I have crazy theory. Won't take a lot of time. When he took the sun throne thingy, crumpled it, and then just magically it was back the way it was. I touched on this when we very first started.
Reverse
was
time.
No, this is the first time I got another scratch of it again. We're in the fucking Matrix. Neo
there is
just
no spoon.
There is no spoon.
spoon.
There is no fucking spoon. He bent the spoon, and then when he stopped thinking about the bend of the spoon was just there as it was supposed to be. It wasn't that he did anything. So as he crumpled it, Perrin could see it crumpling, but then it was just as if he never crumpled it. It's not like there was a slow release and Rand used force to make it go back to what it was. There was just an illusion of it crumpling, or he crumpled the illusion that you were seeing, and then he released that illusion, so it went back to the illusion you were supposed to see. I think, Chris, if we end up being in some sort of matrix, and then I start thinking about it again, and what if
it was a big RPG game?
What if that's what Lews Therin was trying to do in the beginning? They discovered that they were part of some sort of Matrix type thing, and he was trying to, and the creator is a fucking programmer.
Yeah.
Did Robert Jordan have that knowledge of computers?
Yeah, I mean, Robert Jordan one time in an interview explained that his idea for the pattern is like the most craziest supercomputer you could ever think of. And he actually said that in an interview. So that's an interview.
Yeah. If it doesn't straight up turn out to be a Matrix type thing, which think about when the Matrix came out.
The comic book, well, yeah, the movies was in the 90s, but also
I was getting back to
before that.
comic book.
Yeah.
Not too far from Jordan time frame. So for us to have that sort of sci-fi twist to what we're reading, Chris, is not impossible.
Mm.
It seems improbable. You know what's throwing us off? In the Matrix, they were like, let's let you live at the height of human civilization. And that always bothered me about the Matrix. I was like, if I want to control them, I would put them in a feudal society.
Mm-hmm.
And then I only have to interact with and control those with power, the nobles, the kings and queens.
Yeah.
I only have to tap a few people and maybe let them in on it and give them special privileges, and the rest will fucking fall in line.
Yeah.
Okay, one more time. Why would you have the Matrix and leave it in a society where people are knowledgeable about computers and at the brink of at least the knowledge of the potential for AI and everything? Because then you're going to have some outliers that figure it out.
To keep yourself from getting bored.
If Jordan writes this Matrix like, he did a much better job in doing this feudal type society, this kings and queens and lords and peasants. And
well, because you'll have those handful of peasants that when you come and say, I'm your king, they'll be like, my king, we live in an autonomous democracy.
I never voted for no king.
I never voted for no king.
I have no chance of the steak dinner at least until the last book, if I'm right, and it's a stretch, but I'll put steak on this. That there's a sci-fi type. This reality that we're living in truly isn't the reality of some sort. It may not be the Matrix, but everything in this world is not truly in this world.
Okay.
This isn't reality. They're experiencing thought.
Yeah. Interesting.
The whole world is being run by an 8-year-old kid, and this is an RPG game and a laundromat.
Yeah. And then Perrin just blurts out, like, in the middle of all this, like, you know, you murdered like 2 nobles, like 2 lords, Marangil and Melian. And where's Barrelade? And as soon as he mentions Barrelade, like Fael, like gives him an icy look. Is like,
he's like,
how
shit.
dare you? Shit.
I think that
I'll do
bodes,
is point out the obvious.
I think that bodes well, though. Again, when I was reading this, I said my first thought when Rand was figuring this out is, I fucking left Baron Lane here to handle this, and she's gone. That's the next biggest question. Those are the chapters I want to read next. Like, what happened? And I feel like Perrin, if Fael got mixed up in it, like I said before, Fael reads the room very well. She clearly was raised around pseudo royalty. She wasn't raised, you know, to just sow fields. She's raised to lead people in some capacity. She reads the room well. She probably saw the writing on the wall and realized, better I be in a position to be a fly on the wall than to be somebody excommunicated from here.
Oh, for sure.
So I feel like if she's where she is, she's where she wanted to be, and it's still supporting Perrin, which at this point is still supporting Rand. And if she doesn't want Perrin to bring up the Barrelane shit, I feel like Fael's on, I won't say Barrelane's side, but maybe Barrelane's side, or at least knowledgeable and pro Barrelane in the decisions.
She's on Rand's side, and Barrelane is supposed to be listening to Rand, so therefore she's supporting.
Yeah. She's like, Perrin, don't bring that up right now. That's not important. We need to fucking get rid of this chick, and then we can deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But immediately Colavaere starts to refute the accusation, saying, like, that's, you know, outright lies, blah, blah, blah. There's no proof because I'm innocent. There's no, you know, I don't need to show proof because I'm innocent. Well, you know, going on and on about it. And then she turns and says, you know, hey, I handle my light work. You know, I'm done with this. Yeah.
Can I say at this moment, you know what went through my head? I'm not dead yet. Really? I think I'm getting better. I mean, from a reader, Chris, like, did you think she would dig herself out of this hole, or was it over? She threw, I have an Aes Sedai backing me with Rand there.
Yeah.
Even if the Aes Sedai was backing her, that did not help her.
Yeah, no,
And
not
it
at
ma-
all.
And it made it
That
worse.
that blamed him even more. He already knew what was going on, but he was like, "You dare!" And that
Yeah.
it was just like one thing after the other after the other. It's like keep digging your hole
Yeah.
a little bit deeper,
He did let her
deeper
talk a
still.
lot.
He
Uh-huh.
did.
Yeah,
He kept
did.
his mouth shut. He just kind of stared off into nowhere, and he had the parent in the background the whole time, like, "I need you to stay sane. Please stay sane. My wife is right here. She had nothing to do with it. Stay sane." And then she steps up, like, "Hey, Rand, I'm telling you, this is what happened." And then he's like, "Good,
Yeah.
okay." She
But-
did do the right thing.
Before that, you get one of the I think the best lines in the entire.
The Aes Sedai reveal. Just kidding.
Well, yeah. This is she's Aes Sedai, and she's like, well, I'm Barrelane's advisor, not Colavaere's, and goes into that. And then one of my favorite parts of this is when Rand looks at her and she goes, "You know how much you guys are fucked up? I'm not the one shielding you right now." And that's when like the whole room realizes
Yes.
we're fucked.
Yes.
Like, I'm not doing this.
So if
That's
you
how
want to
you are right now.
throw somebody in the honorable mention for best character, what's the name of the gray
The
gray Aes Sedai?
shoot,
Honora,
yeah.
Honora.
Right. I know at this point as a reader we're trained to just be fearful and weary of all Aes Sedai, but she, considering everything, she danced through this very gracefully.
Yeah.
And in a way that was not offensive to Rand. And in that moment, like Jordan even talks about the moment she looked over and she had that moment of realization on her face, and she didn't have a total freak out. Like she kept her shit together, but there was still a recognition of, oh shit, she kept it together.
Mhm.
So I don't have love for her yet. I'll throw yet because I feel like it's possible. I get some vibes like maybe this. I won't say one you can trust, but maybe there's some good things that could come from a relationship with her, especially being a gray. And Rand needs a lot of help in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I think she did a good job.
Who's
lost.
Who's Javian again?
Who's who?
Javian.
Javian.
It says so. This is why Javian was grinning like a madman. He had recognized.
I think he's one of the Oshaman.
One of the Oshaman.
No,
Okay,
he's not. No, he's not. Let's see. Javian is. I'm looking at it right now. He's one of the Mayanners that fought alongside Perrin to save Rand. So he's from the Mayanner Guard. So he knew because
he knew who she was because
he knew she was.
Yeah, got you. Because I like you said, I love her. Like kind of, I don't want to say weaseling out of it, but politicking. She's like, yeah, I've been kept secret because we know how people feel about me. So I'm just gonna leave this one where it's at. Might drop on that, but also
technically I'm beholden to Barrelane.
Exactly.
Just want to throw that out there.
And I think it's time for it. It's not the time for secrets for me now. I think the time has passed. So let me go on ahead and tell you, she did it. She did it all. It was all her.
Well,
she did it.
Now hold on.
Fail
Aes
said
Sedai
first,
being
yeah.
Aes Sedai. Aes Sedai being Aes Sedai. We have to keep this wrinkle in there. She said that I talked to the people that XYZ, or I heard from people at XYZ, and they told me that she did it.
Right.
If
Before
she
that's
knew,
when
being Aes Sedai, if she knew,
Yeah.
if she had firsthand account or firsthand knowledge of her being guilty, she could have said, I know. And Rand might have been able to trust that more because Aes Sedai can't lie unless they're dark friends.
Mhm.
But technically the wrinkle is still there that she's relaying information that she was told, but maybe that information wasn't true.
Yeah.
But who cares at this point? Because we all want Colavaere.
Yeah. Before that, though, is when Fael speaks up, and she just immediately blurts out, she's like, "Yeah, actually, I know firsthand knowledge that Colavaere was planning on breaking all the fealties to you, Rand, and was going to send Aiel away and completely just undo everything you did." And Colavaere's like, "What? Who's this girl? Like, she's obviously lying." Parents like, "Bullshit." Watch your
say it again.
Watch your mouth.
off.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah. Fuck around and find out. Yes. So we give the F around and find out nod to Rand because he totally deserves it here. But Perrin, I think, gave a real F around and find out. So Rand's F around, F around and find out, turned into Colavaere not dying. Perrin's, I think, was offend the honor of my woman one more time, and I will put this axe through you. I don't think Perrin was going to accuse her of being a not nice person. I think Perrin was ready to do some damage if she kept that up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love it or hate it. I mean, you might be, that's overkill. But Fio doesn't
Yeah.
need that. Fio can handle this. That's fine. But where Perrin was at was he was going to dice somebody up if you just badmouthed her one more time.
Yeah. And then,
Good
yeah,
man.
so,
That.
yeah. And, yeah, so they're going to break oaths. And then, you know, said that the woman that told her this was one of her maids and that she conveniently disappeared right afterwards. Obviously, probably, murdered. And this is when Dobrain cuts in and it's just like, he says,
By the power invested in me.
it's like, by my immortal soul under the light, I, Dobrain, high seat of the house of Terrabran, do arraign and censure you of treason, the penalty for which is death.
And everybody goes, and then looks at Rand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when Perrin looks at Rand and can hear Rand, and Rand's so quiet that he's convinced only Rand and Perrin can hear it, and he's like, no, I can't, I won't. Perrin takes that as him battling with whether or not he should censure her and execute her, essentially, right? Isn't it possible, because we're getting a Perrin point of view looking at Rand battling, what would Rand be battling here? He could be battling
there and losing his grip on reality.
But what would Lews Therin be saying? Kill the Aes Sedai,
Kill the witch, yeah.
or kill the Ashaman, or the other male channelers. So I think I don't know if it's relevant, but I think it's funny that maybe Perrin comes to a happy conclusion for himself, like, oh, Rand is battling, he doesn't want to kill a bunch of people, but Rand is probably comfortable with killing a lot of people right now. But what he's battling is, do I make foes of the Aes Sedai by just fucking killing her and giving in to what Lews Therin is saying, or do I make foes of the other male channelers and start killing them? I have no reason, nothing in the text again, but I think it'd be funny if Rand's battling one thing, but Perrin is assuming he's battling something else, but Perrin is rationalizing it to make sense in his perspective at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and then after all these accusations, that's when she denies the charges, Colavaere does, and that's when Honora speaks up. And it's like, well, actually, I talked to Berlin's thief catchers. We got a few of them that you guys didn't know about. And yeah, they went and dug up all this information. Yeah, she did it. She hired the hits for all of it.
They told me to tell you.
My mama told me to tell you.
I like the question that's a little posted. Does Rand knowingly kill women? I don't think he does. I think that's part of his issue. Lews would be like,
correct. Lews, I think at this point, Lews will kill anybody and anything that he feels is a threat or an enemy to him. That's what Rand's battling. But no, Rand doesn't want to kill women. Yeah. Rand probably has how many hundreds of scars from lashing himself for dead women?
Something. And he has their names memorized.
Yeah.
Have I told you guys like that Robert Jordan actually talked about why he ran that way?
No.
Have you seen Full Metal Jacket?
Well, no. So during
how do you kill women and children?
Yeah.
You just don't lead him as much. It's pretty fucked up.
It's pretty fucked up. Yeah. During his tour in Vietnam, he in an interview he talked about it, saying that the one kill that sits with him the most as a helicopter gunner, I guess they were about to take off and a woman pulled out an AK and pointed at him and he gunned her down and it stuck with him. And he wrote that in because it was a personal thing that he felt the entire time, that that from the horrors of war during Vietnam that he gunned down this woman, and it just and he's talked about it in interviews before. That's part of why he wrote that the way he did, because it's kind of a personal experience.
It doesn't sit well with you.
Yeah. But anyway, so on from more sober things to more sober things. As I am not staying sober tonight. Yeah, and
Yeah, I didn't start that way.
Yeah, and then Dobrain adds to that. After Honora says all the things about the thief catchers, Dobrain says, the penalty for it's treason, and the penalty of death is by hanging, just like a commoner. And Colavaere is like immediately is like, I request the headsman. Hey, at this point, I know I'm not going to win this one.
That's right after she admits. She was like, they said that you'd never come back.
Yep. She
like,
slipped up.
That was supposed to be internal monologue.
And she slips up and says it out loud that she actually conspired with the Aes Sedai captured Rand. They told me you'd never come back.
Yeah. That's funny.
It's
good,
funny
good restraint on Rand to hold back at that point.
I know. I would not have said it. But he definitely.
But that line, her begging for the headsman versus the hanging, gave him his out.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, there are things worse than death for her. How she dies. Oh, if how she dies is significant, then how she's forced to live the rest of her life.
Look, he's saying, listen to Project Pat. Project Pat said, don't save her.
Yeah. And hasn't Rand stripped nobility before? This isn't the first time.
No.
That Rand stripped someone of nobility? That's probably the first time they stripped someone this high.
It was either a threat to strip nobility or
he's killed people. He sends people to death that are nobles. I don't know if he's.
I thought he stripped titles and lands from somebody else. It might have been Tyr,
he might
something
have
like that, or maybe it was talk about it. But I don't think this is the first time we broached the subject.
Yeah,
it's been a couple of years.
I was gonna say, right, a couple years. But either way,
I don't know what I had for breakfast.
Yeah, she gave him the opening for it by suggesting that there's worse things than death.
Yeah.
He was like,
yeah.
How can I double down on that?
And that's what Rand, he lays his punishment out. He's like, do you own a farm? And she's like, a farm? Why would you ask?
A small farm, by the way.
A small farm.
Tiny.
And Dobrain's like, yeah, she owns a lot of farms. He goes, any small ones? Like, he's like, yeah, there's probably some out by the Dragon Wall that she owns that are really small. He goes, okay, find the smallest one. You are now banished there. Everything except for the dress you're wearing is stripped from you. You own nothing now. No titles, nothing. And you will be working a farm. We'll send people out there to teach you how to plow a field and work as a farmer.
What a gesture. I'm still, you know what? You're not going to be out there helpless.
I'm jealous.
You're going to have the opportunity to learn how to do it. The experts will teach you. That's what you're going to do.
That's what you're going to do the rest of your life. And if you leave within a day's walk, we'll have guards to kill you if you try to leave. But yeah, just go out there.
Guards. That's the worst job. That's the worst thing about it. Like, not only did she get herself put out to the farthest reaches of a small farm, she's now got to have 2 guards leave their family to go out there. Ooh.
Yeah.
1 girl, 2 guards.
No. I might be wrong, but Chris, I feel like you were about to nod towards this. But right now, if somebody were like, you know what? You're banished to a small farm far away from people, and we're going to give you the resources you need to make that a successful farm, I'd be like,
oh my God, so horrible.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Oh my God, I can't believe you did this to me.
So my daily interaction will be with chickens, goats, horses, and pigs.
Mm-hmm.
And then once a week, I will trade with other farmers. Oh no.
I hope you don't send me with a library.
Alas, if I have too many books with me, I'll be overwhelmed. You're taking all the books. Oh no.
And she faints.
Right. As I would to really sell
Don't
it.
forget the vineyard.
Don't let me get back to my roots. That would be horrible. One with the earth and the animals around me.
You're sending two gentlemen to help.
Oh, I didn't even. Well,
Yeah.
there's some giggity potential there. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's
brain send some men to teach her how to plow. Wait,
Yeah, exactly.
couple
One
plumbers
girl,
so
two
she knows
guys.
how to lay pipe. Wait, what? I don't know. Did you wink? What are we talking about here? I think the dragon winked. Colavaere, you're in trouble.
okay.
Hey, you want to have your own
So-
work? That's how you
The
do
next
it.
scene, Dobrain just has her sit on the casting couch.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No.
So the
don't support
nobility
any of
all
that.
around the room at this point is nervous as shit, and Rand's like, "Yeah, you guys are actually all free to leave. In fact, leave as fast as possible. Get out, everybody."
Like roaches, they scurry.
Yeah, they all scurry, and that's when Rand turns to Nora and says, "Oh, well, you serve Barrelane. Take me to her. I need to talk to her."
Take me
And
to your
that's how
leader.
we take me to your leader. And then we finish the chapter with all the nobles hastily leaving the hall and ran off to see Barrelane.
Yeah, this is a like abnormal cliffhanger for me because from the get-go, once we learned what was going on, the first conversation I wanted to have was Rand and Barrelane.
Mhm.
So it's not a total dark friend moment for you, Alan, but
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the put Colavaere in her place. It was fun.
Yeah.
It's something we had to
Oh.
get through, but
Yeah.
whatever. I want the conversation with the person Rand left behind to handle things.
Yeah.
I want to know Fail's involvement with it.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect the relationship between Perrin and Rand? Like,
But I
what?
think we know Fayo's involvement at this point. She was trying to be the inside woman.
She was giving nudges and winks. Do the nudges and winks line up with what Rand wants? If the moment anything she did is not what Rand wants, is when Perrin stands up to him. Like, there's, I don't feel like we're there yet, but there's potential for.
There's potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how we end these chapters.
Yeah.
Anything we missed?
We've had worse chapters.
This is the rise and fall, the very short rise and fall of Colavaere.
That's the shortest monarchy or is that what's called that they've had.
Yeah. It was good for what it was. I like it. Entertaining. I still stick to my favorite character being Rand. Chris, I love that you almost put the exclamation mark on it. You just the emphasis. Oh no, he didn't burst in. He strolled in. It's almost like, again, we're not getting the Rand perspective. We're getting somebody else watching him, but he wasn't surprised by it. He knew how to handle it. With what was going on, I think he did a pretty good job of, the show of force. And interesting enough, we have this distrust for the Ashaman and those that time have been training, yet Rand, lucky or wisely, allowed them to wrap up the guards, allowed them to shield the Aes Sedai. Rand didn't even bother. And he let those around him do the show of force for him. And he was just so casually cool through all of this.
Yeah. It was a great power play.
Yeah.
Because he had to establish his dominance without doing the work. To enforce the idea that even when I'm gone, my people
when I'm gone. Yeah. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
Because at the end of the day, he's going to at some point put the queen back on her throne, and he's not gonna be there to protect her.
Yeah.
And
he's starting to play the long game.
Yes.
Yep.
But he wants to remind them, like, I now have this additional force that you're not gonna know who they are until they're upon you, because they don't have the same air that the Aes Sedai even do. Like the
Mm.
Aes Sedai showboat. You know when you have an Aes Sedai in your midst.
Yep.
You know when there's an Aiel in the midst.
They're going to demand the
You know
respect.
when
They're going
there
to
is
have
a
the
guard
attitude.
in the midst.
Yep.
But my Ashaman, they slink around in the light and in the dark, and they're going to strike like vipers.
Yep.
Did Alan
You don't
freeze
even know.
again? He did.
No, I'm still here.
Oh,
No, I'm still here.
that's funny. He was in the same position
I
for
was
that whole.
staying really still.
Yep. I thought we lost him again. That's funny.
No.
I was like,
I'm
didn't
trying
he
to get
just say
to.
cut
I'm trying to
the
get to
humidifier
where we
off?
are in the timeline to see like how far it's been since the beginning of the book, like time wise. That's what I'm doing right now. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rand was pretty smooth. I got to give him the nod.
Yeah. It was a good play.
And it might all blow up in our face. That's fine.
No,
but when
that was
when it does,
respect.
it's going to be with new information. So I can't judge Rand.
What's
for
going
this,
to be
but
crazy is Barrelon's response to allowing all this to happen.
yeah, there's got to be another fold, another wrinkle, another obstacle for Rand to get around that we're going to find out when he talks to Bear Lane. I do hope it happens sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And even if they resolve the Bear Lane, Fael, Perrin, Rand thing now, we've still set the stage for Perrin establishing boundaries that he will fight in other directions, which might make him fighting against his Tavernus. He might be torn to fight against Rand, but I think his principles are so strong, like in certain circumstances, he will.
Yeah.
And I keep talking about it because I think in a very dark place, I want that to happen. I don't know why. I don't know.
So how long do you think it's been? I actually found this chapter. So how long has it been since Rand left? Since Winter's Night? Since Rand left the Two Rivers?
2 years and 3 months.
3 months shy of 2 years.
Oh, wow. It hasn't been much time at all.
Yeah. Think about how much growth Rand's had from being like literally less than 2 years ago. He was a shepherd.
I mean, it's 12/20/2022. On 12/20/2020, let's see. I had started my job with GSA, but we were still on. That's when the big rounds of COVID lockdowns happened. And
Yeah, we're doing
Yeah.
podcasts.
well, we were podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've changed. I wouldn't say I've grown. I mean,
Yeah.
I hurt my back, so I've grown.
Yeah.
Got a little bumper.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah,
on that note, Chris, we went to pull-up bars the other day, and I did curl up. So hands this way.
Uh-huh.
I did 7 and probably
Oh,
could have
wow.
squeaked out 8. And I'm over 200 pounds now at 5'7", and it's not
That's
good.
great.
And it's not a good 200 pounds.
yeah.
That's
so
good.
I was kind of surprised.
So someone's actually done the math and like broken out these different chapters and like when they happened. So Winter's Night was on March 23rd, 998. New era, whatever. That's the year 998. This chapter, A Broken Crown, happens on January 2nd, 1000. So not even to March 23rd, 2 years. March 23rd would be 2 years, but it's January.
That's a lot of
2nd.
progress. Not
Yeah,
just
it's a lot
for
of progress.
Rand. Think of Egwene's the
Oh,
airman.
yeah, all of them. Yeah. In
Yeah.
less than 2 years.
Matt's cockier than he was when we first met him.
How
How is that possible?
Yeah.
He's just expressing himself now.
Matt gives
Express
less
yourself.
F's that he started with. And
Yeah.
he had negative F's to begin with.
Yeah.
Parents equally as confused, but at least his eyes are all the way gold.
Yeah.
He's accepted the wolves as his brothers.
Do you get the feeling that the Aiel know more about parents'
Oh,
condition that they're letting on?
Yes.
Do you get the feeling? So we talked about his
There's
wolfiness
a whole hidden
and
group in the IO waste.
oh, but how about Fael and Fael's family and how they recognize what he is and they don't blink at it and they're welcoming
Yeah.
to it?
Well,
What if it's more than just talking to wolves and the relationship with Fael and Fael's family realize there's ability to commune with horses, falcons, but like
yeah.
there's a nature connection and it's not just wolves.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that whole world of communing with animals is bigger than we even think. And Fael and her family is going to lead us to that.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
is our
crazy.
task?
Yeah. So
Maybe
next
that's
time,
why Fael had so much love for the horse that Perrin was trying to get back, because Fael communicated with that horse.
What happened to these horses, by the way?
And Fael didn't let Perrin go without her. She sent her horse with him.
So who's your favorite character, Chris? Did Chris say? I know Ian said Rand. Did Chris say?
We might as Rand. I'm not budging from it.
Who did I say? I think I said it was
Well, that Aes Sedai, she was
Aes
calm.
Sedai.
Honora.
No.
Okay.
Is that who I said? I don't know.
Oh no,
At one
Colin.
point-
No, Colin.
Khaled, yeah, whatever her name
Cauliflower.
is.
Yeah.
Kala, not going to call you
The queen,
anymore.
the 9-day
Colavaere.
queen, the 9-day
Colavaere,
queen.
yeah.
The shortest.
She was.
monarchy.
I mean, I gave her the props just because she had the audacity to make moves against the
with
Dragon
what she
Reborn.
thought she knew. She was
Yeah, I
bold.
mean, she had a
was
solid
bold.
plan, and it almost worked.
No.
If it
I mean,
wasn't
yes,
for
no.
Luz being there,
yes, but
and
no.
if they had moved a little bit quicker, or if they had just went ahead and just stilled him right then and there, boom.
Their plan wasn't to steal Rand, though.
I know their plan
You
was to
remember
control
that-
him, but better thing
you-
would have been to steal
You
him.
remember that high school team that wasn't really a high school that somehow worked out a contract with ESPN to like go and play on national television, and then they got destroyed, and then it turns out the school doesn't actually exist, and the coaches were so nobody follows sports. Anyways, anybody out there
Yay,
that
sports.
anybody out there, I'm sure there's one or two
Do I
of you
look
that
like I
remember that
sport?
story. That's what I think of when I think of this monarchy. Like
Yeah.
they were pretend all the way through.
Yeah.
And when they finally got on the national stage, they were exposed and garbage. And then people were like, wait, this was fucked up from the beginning.
Is this his figurehead? No, it's not figurehead. Because I think they actually have power. It's not figurehead. It's just just fake.
Yeah.
So my favorite character was
Not tomatoes.
Chat already put it there. So
Where were Fael's parents in all of this?
Alan, I'm going to get angry with you the way you got angry with me about Tom being alive. Stop saying Timanus.
Never.
He's not your favorite. He's not our favorite. He's nobody's favorite. He's garbage.
Where is Bashir? He's in Camelin, I think.
South of Camelin, doing
Yeah.
some training stuff.
What about
Yeah.
He's on the outskirts enough that he might not have been caught up in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next chapters, next time on the Wheel Reads, we'll do 3 chapters again. 6, 7, 8. And those chapter titles are Old Fear and New Fear. Lots of fear.
Mhm.
Pitfalls and Tripwires. And The Figurehead.
Pitfalls and tripwires might turn into a choices type chapter for me because I feel like everything is that at this point. It's like a two steps forward, 2 steps back. It's every time Rand tries to do something right, something gets effed up.
Okay. Well, that's what we're doing next. So, and then a figurehead, the figurehead.
I'm wondering, or I was wondering this from the beginning. When is Rand finally going to summon Elaine to take her place?
Well, she's down at
Or-
Abadar right now.
I know, but he could just bippity boppity boo and be there, snatch her up and be back. Or when do you
That's
put
Matt's
somebody?
job. He sent Matt to do that.
Yeah.
And the people that could tell him honestly where Elaine is at that very moment, they won't.
They won't. Yeah.
So he
True.
doesn't know exactly where she is at any given time. He's just being reassured by Min, I guess, and some others that she's alive.
Yeah. Yep.
But I would like them to bibbity bobbity boop some shit so we can move on with this. But we have too many books
Yeah.
left.
We have
so
Old
that-
Fear and New Fear as well. Old Fear and New Fear.
That might be a parent chapter
That's
with
what I
his
Maybe
thought.
some-
with his.
Maybe some.
I recognize that,
Lanfear.
but there's some
Oh.
bro. Don't tease me.
Lanfear's dead. It's all good. Moraine
Sure.
killed her.
Tom
herself,
died
yeah.
too. Yeah,
Mhm.
Moraine's never coming back to make out with Tom.
Mhm.
Uh,
Never.
blasphemy.
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 Chris woke up from his post-episode nap
Yeah.
to shout blasphemy.
So, how we can be found? TheWarReads.com is our website. You can find links to everything there. Come join our Discord server. We're giving away a book right now. So, if you come join, look at the announcement section of our Discord. There is a book giveaway. Ian and Chris are not eligible. No, Chris, you're not eligible for the Facebook either, even though you commented on that.
Yes, you did. But I brought people there too. So
You
Hey,
did,
Chris.
You did.
Chris, the joke's
Um,
on Alan. I went to his house and got a 7-book giveaway.
If you want books, just come to my house, Chris.
It
I'll
was
give you books.
paperback, but bro, that's all I need right
Yeah.
now.
I got some hardcovers too, but I'm not giving those. Well, giving some of them away. I got
you know,
multiple
somebody
hardcovers.
somebody asked if we would sign a book. We haven't signed a book in ages. How would we make that happen? I'm all the way in North Carolina
Well,
now.
yeah, if someone wins and wants it signed, we can do a signed book.
We can make it
We
happen.
can make
We can
that.
make it
Yeah,
happen.
we'll
make
make
that
that.
If they want Eye of the World, I got a couple hardback Eye of the Worlds. So I can do that. But if they want anything else, I have to order it. For hardback. I mean, I have them all in hardback, but I'm not giving away. Yeah. Anyways.
It's got
Gotta keep those
pristine
fancy
mint
covers on something.
condition.
I gotta keep
Yeah.
the fancy Wheel of Time covers. You can see
Uh,
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
When I saw it in person, I was like,
It
oh
is.
man, I gotta do that.
yeah,
Mm.
it's pretty. That's but the Juniper book covers, they're pricey though. I didn't pay for them. They were bought for me. I did not pay for them. But yeah, so come join our Discord. Come support us on Patreon. We do live reactions. We will be doing another live reaction in January. I'm not sure what chapter yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. But yeah, we will be doing one. I'm letting you guys know now. Next month.
Okay.
We're doing one. And
Wait, are the chapters worth doing live reactions this early in the book?
we gotta
It's gonna be when
we gotta
Fael-
throw some crappy chapters in there for live reactions. Just
It's
to
when
throw your eyes
Fael
off.
dies and Perrin declares war on Rand. And Loyal
Fael's
doesn't know
not
who
gonna
to follow.
die. Fael's not gonna die. She's too stubborn for that.
Okay,
She's gonna outlive Perrin, if anything else.
sure. So yeah, also buy merch. We have links to merchandise there. So we have lots of merch. It's fun, cool things, baby onesies, frosty mugs, shot glasses, t-shirts. We need,
Yeah,
we
like
need
the
to
one
make,
I have on.
we need to make more t-shirts. But yeah, we
We
got
do,
a
yeah.
bunch. Yeah, we'll come with something. So yeah, that's all I got for this week, guys.
Until next time.
Peace.
Okay, bye.
You need to do a t-shirt